Hey, hello, hello, hello. It's Joanne Musa, the Tax Lien Lady, and this is Ask the Tax Lien Lady Live, where I can answer your questions for you live here on Facebook about investing in tax liens or tax deeds. So as you come in here on Facebook, just let me know, say hello, let me know where you're at, where you're from, so that I know how best to answer your question, because tax lien investing is different everywhere in the country. It's different in every state. And guess what? In some states, it's even different in each county. Hi, Shumi, where are you from? Yeah, let me know where you're from, guys, and give me your questions. From Georgia. Great. Georgia is a redeemable deed state. And some of the counties in Georgia have tax sales every month. They are competitive because there is a 20% penalty in Georgia. And most of those sales, almost all of them, I think, except for one county, are live. You have to show up live, which is good because if they're online, there's even more competition. Darlene, hello from Florida. In Florida, the tax lien sales are going on now. Tax deed sales happen all year long. But the tax lien sales in Florida are going on now, and they are all online. Tenny, hi, Tenny. Alabama. Okay, Alabama's not my favorite state, but if you live in Alabama, they do have tax lien sales. A lot of them are online and they're going on. Some of them are going on now. Yeah, and Shumi, they are very competitive, but the trick is to pick the out of the way counties, stay away from the Atlanta area, go, a couple of hours away. I like the counties up north, close to Tennessee. Okay, what do you think about getting into tax deeds in Georgia? I haven't personally invested in Georgia, and they're not really tax deeds, Shumi. They are redeemable deeds, and they work a lot like liens, except the price of a deed gets bid up at the sale. So it gets bid up pretty high, and it's not easy for people to redeem because they have to come up with 20% of the entire bid price. So it is a way to get property, but you don't get the property, you don't get the deed for a year until the redemption period is over. And then you actually have to foreclose. You have to get an attorney and foreclose. So it really is a lot like lien investing. Okay. All right. All right, guys, give me your questions. I'm here to answer your questions. So we've got Georgia represented here. We've got Florida represented here. And Alabama. Okay, any other states represented here, let me know. And I voted today. So if you are a registered Democrat or a registered Republican, you can vote in the primaries, so go vote. Both parties need all the help they can get. Shumi says, right, that's the only downfall, 1 year wait period. Yeah, it's not the only downfall. A 1 year wait period is not bad, but you still do have to go through foreclosure when you're done with the 1 year wait period, a judicial foreclosure with an attorney. Corey from Connecticut. Hi, Corey. Yeah, Connecticut is a funny state because they can have redeemable deeds or they can have lien sales. Each town gets to choose what they want to do. Each taxing district, each municipality gets to choose what they want to do. Some have redeemable deed sales and some have tax lien sales. And hi, Nicole. I'm so glad you're here. Nicole's here to give us a hand, help me out. So I am so thankful for her because she makes this easy for me. All right. So what announcements do I have for you today? Well, right now, what the tax sales that are going on are that have a short redemption period. These are lien sales with a short redemption period, are in Maryland. And each county in Maryland chooses its own interest rate. But the interest rate is not bid down in Maryland. See, I like states that don't bid the interest rate down where you pay premium. I really like states that give you interest on your premium. Maryland doesn't, but you don't have to pay the entire premium at the sale. So if you're interested in handholding for the Maryland tax sales, the ones that are online, I'm doing a course currently for the Maryland online tax lien sales. And you could still get in that course. We have a call tomorrow night. There are 2 modules that are already in the training, and we will be posting 2 more over the next month. These sales are going on now. Now, some of them are already closed for registration, but some of them just opened up for registration, and a couple of them haven't even opened yet for registration. And there's 1 or 2 that haven't even announced when they'll open. So, there are going to be tax sales going on. That's the whole point of this training. It's one of my done with you trainings, specific for Maryland. And these done with you trainings I do with you while the tax sales are going on. Now, I've only done a couple of these. I've only done one for Arizona and one for Indiana. So this is the first time I'm doing it for Maryland. Okay. So let's see what other questions we have here. Oh, and Nicole has put in a link for you in the comments to find out more about the Maryland course that's going on now. And if you'd like to join, it's not too late to join. We have 3 live calls starting tomorrow night over the next month. Okay. And there are 2 modules there now. We did a live call a couple of weeks ago, and that was recorded, and that's in module 1. This call that we're doing tomorrow night will be recorded and put into module 2, which is already out there for you. And that's where you learn how to register for these sales, where they're held, how to find out about them, how to pick the best places to invest, and how to pick the best properties to invest in, plus more. Those are only a few things that we cover. Plus, I have a secret weapon. I have my boots on the ground, my investor friends who invest in Maryland and can give us some real good information about where the best places to invest and the places to avoid. Okay. Okay, Tenny is asking, if I buy a tax lien, am I responsible the following years? In some states, yes. Now, Tenny, where are you? What state are you in? Because here's the thing. Some states you want to pay the subsequent taxes. You don't have to, but you want to pay them because you will get the maximum interest rate on them. Other states, you don't want to pay them until the redemption period's over. In Maryland, you definitely don't want to pay them because you're not going to get any interest on them. You're not going to get your money back if it does redeem. So you don't pay them. And Florida, the same thing. You don't pay them until the lien doesn't redeem and you get to foreclose on the lien. Okay. In other states, some states, it's advantageous to pay them. Another state that I don't really pay them in is Indiana, because you do get interest on your premium on your subsequent taxes that you pay, but it's not a lot. So, you want to wait until you get the property and then pay them. Okay. Okay, so let's see what other questions we have. What's the closest, I think you meant state, Corey, from Connecticut, where I can acquire a property by buying the lien? Oh, you could do that in Connecticut. You could do that in Connecticut, especially the redeemable deeds. But there's also, if you just want to buy the property, you don't want to wait a redemption period, New York State. Most of the counties in New York State just sell the property. They have deed sales. And some of them are online. Okay, there are cities in New York State that do sell liens, but you have to wait 2 years in most of them to get the property. New Jersey also sells liens, but you have to wait 2 years. Massachusetts, don't really like Massachusetts. They have taking sales. They have deed sales. They're called taking sales, and they don't just sell for back taxes. So that's not the best place to go. Rhode Island, I think, does have lien sales. Okay. So what other questions? Corey, did that answer your question? I hope. And Tenny, you're in Alabama. Alabama, I have to check on that. I believe you can pay the subsequent taxes, but I don't know what interest rate you get. Do you have to? You don't have to, but if you don't, it's going to go into the tax sale again, but not for 3 years. Okay, so you might not have to in Alabama. Okay. Let's see, Darlene has a question here. And Darlene, remind me where you're from. Yes, tax liens and tax deeds are two different things, and they are different processes. And when you buy a tax lien, see, what happens is the county or municipality needs their money to meet their budget. So they will sell the taxes to an investor at an auction. Either the interest rate gets bid down, or the price of the lien will get bid up, or maybe something else is bid, but they have an auction. Either the highest bidder, if they're bidding up the price of the lien, or the lowest bidder, if they're bidding down the interest rate, gets the lien, and they put a lien on the property. So they're paying the taxes and putting a lien on the property. And then if the owner doesn't pay in a certain amount of time, they get to foreclose on the property. That's a tax lien. A tax deed, some states don't mess around. You don't pay your taxes, they're not selling your taxes at an auction. They are selling your property right out from under you, baby. So those are tax deed states. They're selling that property. So when you go to those auctions, be prepared. The price of the deed is going to get bid up from the back taxes in some states. And it gets bid up quite high, especially now it's a seller's market. So investors are there and they're bidding things up high. So be prepared. You need more money for deeds. You got to do your due diligence because you are buying the property. And then there's redeemable deeds like we have in Georgia, and that's in between. Okay. You buy the deed at the sale, but you don't really own it yet until the redemption period's over. And Georgia's the only redeemable deed state where you actually have to get an attorney and foreclose. But the other states that do this, like Tennessee, South Carolina, they just go through a process through the courts, and you normally just pay a fee and then you just get the deed and record it. Okay, so Darlene, did that answer your question? Okay, and you're down in Florida. Yeah, in Florida, what happens if you're buying a lien, when the 2 years is the redemption period, when that's over, you have to apply for your lien to go into a deed sale. So that's why there's deed sales all the time in Florida, because instead of actually getting to foreclose on the lien in Florida, you have to do a TDA, tax deed application. So at that point, you're going to pay all the outstanding taxes, all the subsequent taxes, and prior taxes, if there are any. And you're going to do the application with the county. Each county has their own fee for that. And it's, so it could be like a couple $100. It's different in every county. And then it goes into a deed sale to satisfy your lien. So if nobody bids on the property, you get the property. But if somebody bids on the property, they have to bid at least what's owed to you, sometimes more, in order to get it. But then that redeems your lien. And guess what? When you do that TDA, and you pay all those other taxes to do it, that you get the statutory interest rate in Florida, which is 18%. So that's all starts accruing at 18%. So that if it is redeemed at some point before it actually goes into that sale and before it's sold in that sale, you're going to get 18% per annum on your money. Okay. So, Darlene, I hope I clarified that for you. Okay. Do I have a guess when it might become a buyer's market again? That's a really good question, Shumi. I had a contractor come and look at my house yesterday because I'm in the process of selling myself. My husband got a new job across the country in Washington State. I live in Pennsylvania. Right now it's a seller's market and I'd like to take advantage of that. But there's some little, there's things in my house I haven't done since I lived here that I like update my master bathroom, right? So, so I had my contractor who's also a flipper and flips properties here, and he tends to think that it's going to change after the summer because gas prices are now, if you've noticed, steadily going up. Our president has shut down most of the pipelines in the country. They were shut down before the election because they didn't know what was going to go on. And the whole industry is, kind of shut down right now. So that means gas prices, oil prices are going to keep rising. And remember what happened back in 2008 when we had that 2009 with the mortgage debacle. People bought houses, they paid too much for them, but they didn't care. It was a seller's market. People were moving out of the cities. They were moving out here, just buying like crazy, just like they are now, right? But they were still commuting. Now, maybe this won't happen this time because not as many people have to commute. Some people can still work from home. But I have two sisters in corporate, and my one sister who works for J&J is going back in July. Okay, so they are going to go back. And so people that move out here, I live in the Poconos, from New York and have to commute are going to find the gas prices astronomical. And there's no public transportation out here. The only thing they have is the Mart's bus. They've got a bus that goes to New York. There's a bus that goes to New York and a bus that goes to Philly. But, those prices are going to go up too. So what's going to happen is people are not going to be able to afford to commute anymore. They're going to leave their houses again and go back to the city. That's what happened last time. I don't know if that's going to happen again, but if it does, housing here is going to drop. But guess what? The same thing that's happening here is happening around the country because my husband is working right now in Pasco, Washington. Now, Pasco is in the southeast corner of the state of Washington. It's near Oregon. It's near Idaho. It is not close to Seattle. It's like 4.5 hours from Seattle, southeast of Seattle, right? But people from Seattle and from California are coming and buying houses out there and driving up the market. It's the same thing there. It is a seller's market. But the same thing is going to happen because they have to commute and the gas prices are going to go up. What comes up must go down. Okay. But usually it goes up slowly or maybe like this, and then it starts to escalate. And then it levels off, and then boom, it drops. Eventually, that will happen. I don't know when because I don't have a crystal ball. My contractor thinks the end of the summer. Who knows? Who knows? Who predicted that COVID would happen and it would be such a seller's market right now? Okay. Hi, Tim. Tim is asking, is there a redemption period when purchasing a tax deed in Florida? No, you are buying the property. You're purchasing the deed. The tax lien that went into that deed sale has already been through a redemption period. All right, that's all over. Property's yours. Okay, Darlene, glad I answered your question. Okay. Shumi agrees with everything I've said. I don't know if everybody else does or not. Okay. But we'll just wait and see what really happens, right? All right, so I told you about the Maryland tax sales that are going on now, and Nicole has put a link in there for you to find out more about the Maryland training if anybody wants to get in on that. And these trainings that I do, you also get access to the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator. Now, with the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator, that is my membership site, and it gives you some tools. It gives you tax sale finders, which lets you find out what tax sales are coming up across the country, and also lets you actually look at the properties in the sale, and you get 50 property reports per month. Okay, now with the training, you get a month in the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator, which is usually $149 a month. You get that for free with the training. Now the training is $497, okay? But it also includes the live calls with me, and it includes the trainings that I do. There are 4 modules. And you can find out all what's in there if you go to the link that, and Nicole, you could put that link in there again, in the comments again, because I know I can't see it anymore because I'm seeing all the comments here on StreamYard. I'm doing this from StreamYard. All the comments kind of stack up, so I can't see the ones that were earlier. Yeah, but when you go, you know, that kind of tells you what the training entails. And in the future, when I do these done with you trainings, they're probably going to increase in price, double in price, probably be $9.97 instead of $4.97. And that's because I give a lot of time to this. I do a lot of research, and there's videos in each of the modules. There's a few videos and audios, slides, sometimes workbooks, checklists. There's all kinds of stuff in there to help you. Okay, and I'm not sure what my next one will be, but right now we're doing the Maryland tax sales. I like Maryland because of the short redemption period, 6 months, and the interest rate is not bid down. You do pay premium, but you don't pay all the premium until the lien doesn't redeem, and then you have to come up with all the premium when you do the foreclosure. Ricardo, good question. How frequent are the tax lien sales in New Jersey? They happen all the time because you see there are 550 municipalities in New Jersey, and in New Jersey, just like in Connecticut, there's no big county government, so there's no county sales. They're all township sales, the municipal sales. So the taxing district, each taxing district has their own tax sale. There are 550 municipalities in New Jersey. Each one has a tax sale once a year. Unlike Florida, where they all have to have their tax sales at a certain time of year. They're all in May in Florida. They're all going on now. New Jersey, each municipality gets to decide when they'll have it. Now, so any day of the year, there could be tax sales somewhere in New Jersey. And there could be like 8 or 10 all on the same day at the same time. That happens a lot this time of year, especially in June and in December. Those are the 2 biggest months. May is pretty big, June is bigger. And November is pretty big, December is bigger. Why is that? Well, some municipalities are on a calendar year. Their year ends the end of December, and they have to have their tax sale by then. Some are on a fiscal year. Their year ends at the end of June, and they have to have their tax sale by then. Okay, so just like you and me, these municipalities procrastinate until the end and then do their tax sale. And once they do that, they normally have it the same time each year. Once they have their tax sale, and I will tell you that June is a really big month in New Jersey, and December, two biggest months of the year. Okay. Okay. Now, the other thing that we have coming up, I already told you about the Maryland training that I'm doing, and our next live call for that is tomorrow night. Well, tomorrow at this time, tomorrow at 2:00 is my member training. So when you get into that training for the Maryland tax sales, you don't only get the live calls that we do for that training, but you also get the group coaching calls that I do during the month for members, and you have access to all the archives of all the trainings, plus the wealth building webinar. So that we do a wealth building webinar each month. All right, it is the second Wednesday of the month, and we do a group coaching call each month, and that's the third Wednesday of the month at 2:00. The wealth building webinar is at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. We did that last week, and we'll be doing it again the second week of June. And tomorrow is our member training at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And so if you do get into that Maryland training, you get in today, because then you could be on tomorrow, you could be on 2 calls with me. You could be on the group coaching call, and then tomorrow night, you could be on the Maryland training call. Okay. And Nicole, you could put the link in there for the membership to find out more about the members. So anybody that's interested in, if you're not interested in Maryland, but you are interested in having access to tax sale finders and getting a group coaching call with me every month and getting access to wealth building webinars, and you get access to all the archives, then the membership is $149 a month. And you get discounts on everything. I was going to tell you something else about it, and now it just slipped my mind of what it is. Yeah, you get access to tax sale finders. The wealth building webinar. I wanted to tell you about the last one. The one we did last week was with Lena Sells of PIP Group, and she talked about secondary liens in Illinois and pre-deeds in Illinois. And so if you become a member, you could get the replay of that recording. And she actually showed a couple of deals that are available now for pre-deeds in Illinois and for secondary liens in Illinois. Okay. All right. So thanks, Nicole, for putting in that link in there. Okay, any more questions? Any more questions? I have a few more minutes. I do have a coaching call to do at 3:00 today, so, but I can spend at least 10 or 15 minutes answering your questions. So, okay, so I think I answered all the questions that were put in already. And Nicole, I don't know if we had any, I didn't get any by email or see any that came through anywhere else. I don't know if you did. All right, Darlene is saying, I thought I could just look for properties that are tax delinquent and pay the taxes as a good citizen. Darlene, you're going to have to specify exactly what you're doing. because I don't understand why you would just want to pay the taxes. Yeah, can you clarify that, Darlene? Because I don't know, what is your question? All right, Ricardo, is there a website we can go to for what, Ricardo, for what? Website you could go to for what? Nicole did put in a link for the membership, and she did put in a link for the Maryland training. And my website is taxlienlady.com. But I don't know if there was something specific you wanted, Ricardo. Let me know. And we'll point you in the right direction. If it's the wealth building webinars that you're interested in, we can give you a link to that too. Wealth, just to be a member and get the wealth building webinar recordings is $49 a month. And that's only for wealth building webinars. Now, if you're a member of the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator, you also get that included. So you get that, you get group coaching with me. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you also get all the workshops I do. They're all recorded. I've done a lot of workshops on different states, on Texas, Michigan. These are like 1 day, 2 hour workshops that I do. There's one on buying tax liens online in 2020 that we did, online tax deeds in 2020 that we did. What else? Tax lien investing blueprint. Lot of really good training inside the membership. Okay, so he's asking, is there a website we could go to find out about these, find out about the tax liens in our state? What state are you in, Ricardo? And yeah, you could go to my site at taxlienlady.com, and there's a menu on the top. And one of in the top menu, there's something that says workshops, tax lien investing workshops, and you can see what workshops I've done. You could also purchase those workshops separately, but that will cost you more than being a member. When you're a member, you get access to all of them. And they're anywhere from like $149 to $497 for each one. Okay. All right, you're in New Jersey. Well, here I give access to tax sale finders for people that are members of the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator. And that's where you could find out what's coming up all over the country in any state, okay? But for New Jersey, you know what? They're not even doing that much anymore. They only have a couple of customers. I don't even know if they're taking new customers anymore. And I think you're better off with tax sale finders. All right, Darlene. I thought I could pay the taxes and then get the lien, wait the 2 years, and then get the deed if the owner doesn't attempt to remove the lien. And are you talking about, remind me your state, Darlene. You're talking about Florida? You can do that, but you have to do a TDA. You have to do a tax deed application. So it's not like some states that are redeemable deed states where at the end of the redemption period, you just get the deed. It doesn't work like that. You have to do something. You can get the deed after 2 years, but you have to do something. And one thing, Florida, yeah. And one thing you have to do in Florida, you have to do the tax deed application. And that means you have to pay any other taxes due, all the subsequent taxes that after your lien. And if there were any liens sold before your lien, you've got to pay them off too. all right? And you have to do the application with the county. And there's a fee for that, okay? Then it goes into the tax deed sale. And if it sells, you get redeemed. If not, you get the property. Yeah, Florida's a little bit different. Okay. Yeah, that's why it pays to get an education before you do this, because people lose money by not knowing. Let me give you an example. I just got done with the Indiana course, right? $497 course, just like the one we're doing with Maryland. This one was on the Indiana commissioner sales. Well, somebody did not do my course, but they went to one county they went to one of these sales and they bought quite a few. They bought like 40 some liens. All right. But because they didn't do my training, they didn't know what you had to do after you buy one. And they didn't realize that you had to hire an attorney for each one. And then they didn't have any more money to use for that. You can lose your money if you don't follow the right procedures and do the right things. And in Indiana, you need to hire an attorney. Now you get that money back if the lien redeems. It's definitely worth it. And I had an attorney in the calls with me to tell you the procedure and how much it costs and how much he charges and how it works. An attorney that I use that I recommend. So get an education before you put your money into something. Let me give you another example. I had somebody from New Jersey contact me. They had 2 liens they wanted to sell. I love secondary liens. So, and they're ready to foreclose now. These were bought in 2018. This was 2020, ready to foreclose now. So, okay, I did my due diligence. One of them I didn't like, and one I did. It was a great lien. And so I said, okay, send me a copy of the certificate. And he sent me a copy of the certificate. And right away, I knew there was a big problem. The certificate was never registered. It was never recorded with the county clerk. Now, some states you don't have to worry about it. Florida, you don't have to worry about it. Arizona, you don't have to worry about it. A lot of the states that have these big online sales, big county online sales, the tax collector does everything, or the county treasurer does everything. But in New Jersey, you have to record your lien, and you have a window to do it. You have 3 months to do it. Well, this is 2 years later, and he didn't record the lien. Now, normally it would not be a big problem. I could record it or have him record it before he sold it to me. But because the owner of the property had changed hands since he bought his lien, the lien was unenforceable because it wasn't recorded in the specified time. Because he didn't pay $50 to record that lien, he lost $5,000. Okay. Just another illustration of why you need to get educated before you do this. All right. Any other questions? Any other questions? Give them to me now, folks. Give them to me now. And Ricardo, by the way, New Jersey is a great state to invest in. I do not do the online sales. And most of my clients do not do the online sales in New Jersey. They go to the live sales. The online sales are very competitive, and you need to have a budget of $10,000 for each sale you go to, because there is a $1,000 deposit for each sale. And they take that to be 10% of your budget. So seek out the live sales that are left, the smaller municipalities that still have live sales. That's your best bet. Okay. Any other questions? My dog has found something to bark at. Could be anything from a bee in the house. Yes, he gets really upset with that. Okay, Corey's asking, how much do I need to invest? My goal is to acquire rental property for cheap. Remind me what state, Corey? Yeah, remind me what state, because this is all, remember, this is all state specific, different in every state. And if you want rental property for cheap, I suggest you go to deed auctions, not lien auctions. So remind me what state you're in, because it's hard for me to see what you guys put in the beginning of our Facebook Live. So just type in your state again. And you need more for deeds than you do for liens, because the price of the deed is bid up at the sale. And how much you need depends on the state. It depends on the value of the real estate where you live. Because again, it's a seller's market. There are investors here and they're going to bid it up. All right, Darlene is saying, so the county doesn't tell you what you need to do once you pay the taxes and have the lien? Yeah, but that's too late. That's too late. You got to know that going in. For instance, the woman that I told you about that bought 40 some liens in Indiana, they told her after she got the liens, after they were sent to her, after they already took the money for the liens, then they told her she has to hire an attorney for every single one in order. And the reason she had to do that is because if it redeems and she doesn't hire an attorney and she doesn't send in the right paperwork, she won't get paid back those attorney fees. And if she doesn't hire an attorney and the lien goes through the 4 month, it's only a 4-month period at the commissioner's sales in Indiana. And if it goes through that, then she can't foreclose if the attorney hasn't done the noticing. So you need to know that before you buy at the sale. And in the instance of those New Jersey liens that I told you about, the tax collector did tell him, he wrote him a letter that he sent with the liens, and the guy still didn't record them. He thought he didn't have to. Somebody told him he didn't have to, and he believed it. So, all right, so Corey, you're the one in Connecticut. And you want the property, New York. And not New York City, New York State. The counties, most of the counties in New York sell deeds, and a lot of them do it online. And if the property's vacant, they let you inspect it. And there are redeemable deeds in Connecticut. I would check them out. I would check out the municipalities that have redeemable deed sales in Connecticut. Remember, it's not the county in Connecticut, it's the municipality. Most of New England have municipal tax sales, and New Jersey have municipal tax sales. New York has both, county and municipal tax sales. Okay. Ricardo is asking, do I have to pay the full amount of the lien at auction? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Or is there a percentage balance due after a certain date? Oh, no. In New Jersey, you are going to pay the full amount of the lien. And if you bid premium, the full amount of the premium that you bid also. Separately. So let's say in New Jersey, there's a $2,000 lien. Okay. and it gets bid down to, in New Jersey is the only state they do this. They'll bid down the interest rate and then bid premium. And it gets bid down to zero and then premium is bid. And let's say there's 10,000 premium that's bid. Well, that's a separate amount. You got to pay the $2,000 lien and the 10,000 premium. You don't get interest on either. You do get a penalty amount on the $2,000 lien. On $2,000, you get 2% on the $2,000. You get no interest on the premium or on the lien amount. Okay. However, right now, you go to a tax sale right now, you're paying last year's taxes. Right now, there are 2 quarters due that you could pay for this year. And you could pay the subsequent taxes right now and get 18%. So that's why investors do that. That's why they bid it down to zero and then bid premium, because they're counting on paying those subsequent taxes and getting 18%. Okay. All right. All right, so Darlene, I answered your question. Ricardo, does that answer your question? Joanne, can you give an amount someone needs to have in the bank if someone is thinking they want to start investing in tax lien or tax deeds? Again, Darlene, depends on where. Are you going to deed sales? Are you going to lien sales? In what state? I really suggest you have at least $2,000 for liens. For deeds, 20 to 50. Okay. And in some states, you need more. It depends. Okay. And for the online sales, I suggest you have for liens, 5 to 10,000 to start with. But if you're just going to live sales, $2,000 is good. Well, it's what I suggest is the minimum to get started. The more, the better. Because look, even if you're making 20% on your money, how much money do you have to have invested to really make any money on it? This is an investment. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. And it's not a job. It's not like you're doing an online business where you're providing a service and getting paid for it. This is money that you have that you're investing. Yeah, and in Florida, again, Darlene, that depends on whether you're investing in the liens or the deeds. And if you're investing in liens online, because Florida, they're all online, I'd say 5,000. And if you're in is the minimum. And if you're investing in deeds, you're going to need more. And that depends on what type of property. If it's land, I would say at least 10 to 20. And if it's properties, single family properties, more. 50,000 would be a good number. Why are live sales different than online? Because the online sales some of them want deposits, and they want you to set a budget, and they will let you bid up to your budget. That's a whole nother story, Darlene. I could do a whole class on that. And I really suggest that I have a Buying Tax Liens online course that you could get that covers Florida. I don't have a specific course for Florida. What type of payment method can be used? Oh, good question for New Jersey. A lot of places in New Jersey will take cash. There's a lot of places in other areas of the country that won't take cash. For instance, here in Pennsylvania, they won't take my cash. I have to have certified funds. But a lot of places in New Jersey will take cash or certified funds, no credit cards. The ones that are online, it's ACH debit. and some of them will take money wires. No credit cards in New Jersey that I know of. Some will take cash and some won't. You have to have certified funds. When I got involved almost 20 years ago, you needed cash or certified funds. That was it. And then they started taking money wires for some, not for everybody, but for some of their investors. And Nicole has put in the link for the Buying Tax Liens online course, which we just updated in 2020, because a lot of new places went online in 2020. All right. You're welcome, Ricardo. I do have to end this Facebook Live to get ready for a coaching call that I have in 10 minutes. And if any of you are interested in coaching with me, if you'd like me to kind of take you by the hand and coach with you, you could find out more about my coaching. And if you're interested in the coaching and you want to talk to me about it, then there is a form that you could fill out to have a 30-minute call with me, a strategy session, a profit planning session. So Nicole, you could put the link in for the coaching and for the mentoring application for anybody that is interested in a 30-minute call with me. Now, this is only for you if you have at least $5,000 to invest, because if not, you're wasting your time, I think. But if you have $5,000 to invest and you want to know the best way to do it, and you want me to point you in the right direction, and you want a 30-minute conversation with me, then it's worthwhile. Okay, and then you can also check out, if you want, my coaching program to see if that would be appropriate for you. Now, for coaching with me, I suggest that you have, more than 5,000 to invest to really make it worth your while. Okay, so Nicole put in the comments a link to the coaching to find out more about the coaching. And then she'll put a link in to get a 30-minute session with me. I usually do them on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you just have to fill out a form so that I can find out a little bit about you, so that I know, more about how I can help you. All right, everybody. All right, Nicole, you could put that other link in. I am going to sign off. And I'll see you guys on the next Facebook Live. It's the first and third Tuesday every month. See you on the next one. Bye.